to Next Level Conversations. I am Shantae, your host, and I'm so glad you guys are joining us on this evening. We have been talking about overcoming negativity and how to create an environment and a mindset that will take you forward. Last week, we started talking about things that you can do to overcome negative situations, some different tools that you can use. And as promised, I told you we were going to be bringing in people to come and share their stories, how they had different situations in their life and how they overcame them, some of the things that they did. Here at Next Level, what our goal is to provide you with tools, actionable tools that you can implement in your life every single day as you take your life from chaos to balance. And tonight, I am so excited to have a guest with us on tonight. She is Lauren Fisher, co-author of the best-selling book, Women Who Inspire. Lauren is going to be joining us on tonight to talk about allow, how to let go of things and allow, and the power of how when you let go, life begins to change and you begin to get all the things that you want. Lauren's story is so powerful. She contracted Lyme disease. She went blind from cataract. She had COVID, all in the course of her moving her life from New York to Dallas. And so tonight she is here to share her amazing story and some of the things that she did to overcome negativity. Let me take a time and introduce you all to the Miss Lauren Fisher.
Hey, Shantae.
Lauren, I am so glad you are joining us on tonight.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here, and
Thank
I'm so
you.
happy to share my story. Stories are so powerful.
They are. So we met in February of 2020, right before COVID hit. and even our meeting was a whirlwind type of thing. And it was before the whole world changed and all of our lives changed. And we met, we immediately connected, and we started kind of manifesting. There was we were in some places in our life, and we started even then talking about where we were going to go and what we were going to do.
Yes.
And then we reconnected in July, which is when the first time I recall you started talking about allow. And so why don't you just share with us a little bit of what life looked like for you during that time period and how you went from where you were in July in the place that we both were in as we were talking to get us here today.
All right. Well, I was in a transitional period in my life where I was just open to what was coming next.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know what that looked like. And I was also afraid to take the next steps because I didn't know where they were. And I was overthinking about it so much that I have to control everything. I have to have all the dots in a row, all the ducks in a row. And I was overthinking it, and it kept me stuck. So I was in a job that I was unfulfilled, unhappy, and I wasn't going anywhere. There was nowhere else to go in my career where I was. I was a corporate trainer who was on the road 3 weeks a month, soon to be 4 weeks a month, only home on weekends. And that just wasn't what I envisioned anymore. My role had changed over the past couple of years prior to that. And the interesting thing is I was so frustrated with the decisions that were being made that then one day I realized, it's God saying to me, hello, you don't belong here. Why aren't you leaving? Why aren't you making a move? And so I continued to stay, and I continued to play the blame game on other people.
Yeah.
For my unhappiness. And things seemingly were more uncomfortable for me. And then I realized, I said, oh, it's God telling me, you don't belong here. And I'm not listening. So he's turning up the heat. Like when you have guests over and it's time for them to go and they're not leaving.
Yeah.
You turn up the heat.
Or you turn off the AC.
Yes, exactly. Here in Dallas, we're going to turn off the AC. So that's when you and I were talking about the transitions and the hopes and the dreams we had, but we really weren't clear. We didn't have clarity. We just knew we wanted better. We wanted more. But we didn't know how to get there. We didn't know what it looked like. So one day, everybody had this word of the year in January. So here it is, July. And I said, you know what? I'm going to adopt the word allow. I'm just going to start allowing things to come to me. And I'm also going to allow things to leave me. It's easy to allow when things are going your way.
Yeah.
But when you apply for a job, which I started applying for other jobs, a lot of them I didn't even get a call, and I was frustrated. Or I interviewed and I didn't get the job and I was frustrated. But now was the real test. I had to allow and have faith that there's something better for me.
Mm-hmm.
God is never wrong and God is always on time.
Yes.
And I don't know what this means. I don't know what it's for, but there's something better. And I just need to allow God to do his thing. He knows better than me what's out there for me, what's meant for me. So I just constantly went back to that, and I shifted back and forth between that. And so during this time, my son, my youngest son, Mitchell, actually said to me before moving off to California for college, he's like, Mom, you're really unhappy here. When are you going to move? When are you going to leave? You're not happy. And I just thought, wow, be careful what you teach your kids, because they're going to feed you some humble pie. It's going to come back to you. But it's kind of a wake-up call that I needed for my own child to say to me, you can do, be, and have whatever you want. And so that's when you and I started talking more and getting more clarity around what was important to us and allowing. So that's what I started to do. So I decided, what's the minimum? What's the minimum I need to make a move? Whether it's changing career, whether it's moving completely to another state, what's the minimum? The minimum for me was, I need to be warm, because I lived in New York State where it's freezing and it's dark most of the year. We have a lot of beauty in New York State. New York State has many wonderful things, but now it was too cold, and I had a whole world waiting for me. And I knew, and I had this feeling that in order to grow, I had to go. I was already on the road all the time. So what did I have to lose? I had everything to gain. And there's a metaphysicist from the 1900s called Florence Scovel Shinn. And I listened to her a lot during this transition period. And she said, prayer is you telephoning to God, and your intuition is God telephoning to you. So I started to pay attention to signs. If things came, if things left, and I had to often now just let things be. Let it be. Stop trying to control. Stop trying to force friendships. Stop trying to force relationships. Stop trying to force jobs and careers that aren't for you. When we're unhappy in a career, our first instinct is just apply blankly to get out of where we are. You might end up in a worse situation, or an unhappy and unfulfilling situation. So be open to what comes in. I from that point on, everything just started to fall into place until, right around this time, I had cataracts really bad. In one eye, I was completely blind. The other eye was pretty bad. And I still had to drive every Monday and Friday, 5 hours each way. And I was so thankful. Guess what happened during COVID to me? I got furloughed. So now I was able to go have the surgery that I desperately needed so I could see completely. And then comes October, and I get a phone call that, Lauren, you have Lyme disease, because I was so sick and we didn't know what was going on.
And this was so this was during COVID. You had been furloughed. You had decided that you were going to move, and you were applying in different places, but you had not made a decision about where you were going.
No, and here's the interesting thing. I only applied to warm states in careers that were an up level from where I was.
Okay.
So I applied San Diego, Houston. I had a great interview with Houston, and all of a sudden I got a call from a recruiter in Dallas. And he said, hey, Lauren, I hear you applied to this job in Dallas, and I'm just checking to see if you qualify to get passed through the process. And I said, wow, that's interesting, because there was no posting for Dallas. And I was applying internally within the company I was working for. So I said, but I'm open to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
He said, all right, well, let's schedule a call for 2:00 and let's see if you qualify. And if so, I'll push you through the process. Right then and there, this feeling I've never had just went through me. And I thought,
this is
oh my gosh, if I want Dallas, I can have Dallas. All I have to do is say yes and the pieces will start to fall in place.
Mm.
So we had a conversation. He said, you're qualified. I'm going to pass you through to the manager. That night, I went to Walmart. I bought boxes. I bought packing tape. I bought bubble wrap. I said, okay, God, I'm ready. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know when I'm going, but by spring, I'm going to be somewhere else.
And where was your Lyme disease? What was going on with the Lyme disease at this time?
At that very moment with the phone call, I didn't have it yet. So I wasn't diagnosed. But then a few weeks later, that's when all that happened. And right after I got the phone call that I had Lyme disease, 2 hours later, I received a text from the hiring manager in Dallas. He said, hey, Lauren, I'd love to schedule a video call with you tomorrow, about 30 minutes. And I thought, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm dying. I look horrible. I don't know if I can, how I'll present on video. On phone, I could knock it out of the ballpark. On video, I don't know. So I did my best. And we were on the phone for an hour and a half. And through this phone call, I felt so sick. And for those who've had Lyme disease, you know what it's like. And it's hard to explain. And everybody's journey is different in the severity of the symptoms. But this man named Dan McKenna, when he interviewed me, that first interview, I said, I want to work for this man. He's a leader. I want to work for him. I can learn, I can grow, and I have something to contribute to this team. And I know his team must be fabulous. It must be a great culture if he's like this. And so sure enough, it took a while. The process was long. And then January, I moved.
And then you made the move to Dallas.
I made the move to Dallas. And the hardest part was once I recovered from Lyme disease. And during Lyme disease, I'm going to tell you, it was scary. In my mindset, I knew I had to try to stay on track. There were times it was so hard. I went from, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to die. But then I'd go to, there's no way God is putting me on this journey to go to Texas and be alone and die with Lyme disease. Like, this is impossible. So I'd go back and forth. So I think the positive mindset overtook. I also was certain to make sure I was surrounded by positive people, empowering people. I listened to Florence Scovel, Wayne Dyer, all the greats, to keep that positive mindset going. I had headphones every morning as I'm blow drying my hair. I got headphones in so I could listen to this, so I could just pound it in my head.
And you have a Wayne Dyer quote that you really love that we've talked about a whole lot. Why don't you share that quote with us?
So the quote is, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. And that is so powerful. And it is so true, because you can look as if you're the victim, or you can look at it as you're the victor. That something is happening for you, not to you.
And so at this time, when you're getting ready to make this transition and come here to Dallas, you have Lyme disease that you're fighting with, and then you contract COVID, and you can't say goodbye and see your family. Your whole life is getting ready to, well, it has pretty much blown up, and you're moving clear across the country. And you didn't know anybody here but me.
Come to find out, after I moved here, I knew about 2 or 3 other people because of the power of Facebook. They're like, you're in Dallas? Why didn't you tell me? So yeah, you're the only one. I had never been here, not even on a layover. I didn't have an apartment. So I posted that on Facebook. I had a friend reach out and say, Lauren, I lived in Dallas for 20 years. Let me connect you with my realtor friend, who connected me with somebody else. And we became best friends. And people will at Tier Thompson, and people will say, how did you two meet and become friends? And I laugh and I say, well, I was homeless. And he found me a place to live. So
and you have come to Dallas and have just been living your best life. I do know, your boss, the guy who hired you, died once you got here. It's just a lot of things have been happening. But the thing that I find so amazing about you and about your story is your outlook and the way that you looked at, received, and processed all the things that have happened from July 2020 to get you here now.
Oh yeah, and I had people back home who said, oh my gosh, Lauren, you can't move to Dallas. it's a bigger city. There's more crime. You don't know anybody. They gave me all these reasons why I shouldn't go. And I just flipped the script on them and I said, but what if?
Yeah.
What if? What if it's the best move I ever made?
Uh-huh.
What if I meet the greatest people ever? What if I grow, learn, and thrive? What if?
And when you come to Texas, baby, Texas is something
love
special.
Texas. It is.
Texas is something special. What I want to talk about, we've been talking about we've been talking about overcoming the negativity, and you kind of touched on briefly some of the things that you did, and some of the mindsets that you implemented in your life to help you go through all of these different things and create your mindset. And I just kind of want to walk through some of the things that you did and some of the things that you learned, and just explore them just a little bit more for our audience. One of the first things that you said was, and I just want you to kind of elaborate a little bit on it when you say this. You said God is never late.
Yes, God is never wrong and God is always on time. And I remind myself of that every day. So it might not come to me when I want it.
Mm-hmm.
It's in God's time, when it's the right time. Because I realized I had to do a lot of deep work and ask myself questions. We ask other people questions. We ask our kids questions, friends questions. When did you ask yourself questions?
Oh, I like that.
Am I happy? What would make me happy? The only question you usually ask is, where do I want to go to dinner tonight? Do I want steak or do I want seafood? But what about you? What about putting the focus on you? And so again, this is where faith comes in, because it's easy when everything's going your way and everything's lining up like the cherries at the casino, right? But so you really need to dig deep when it's not going as you planned, and just put your hands up and leave it in God's hands. Because I'm going to tell you, I was one of those people. I would reach out to friends for advice, friends that had never been where I was, didn't go through what I was going through. But and I'm not saying that's a bad idea. But how many times have you looked at your astrology chart, or you go to the psychic fair, or you call a friend? Yet we have faith, whether it's God, the universe, whatever you call the spirit that guides you. What about calling on your God?
Yeah.
What about listening to your God? What about digging your heels deep into your faith? Why wait until you're deathly ill?
Let me ask you this. Have your faith always been this way, or did you find that it was stretched during this time period?
It was stretched. And here's the interesting thing. I went to Catholic school all my life. So I was brought up with, all the commandments and the sacraments and going to church every week. But, growing up, I think as most teenagers, we're going to test.
Yeah.
We're going to test, and we know better. And I'm in control of my life. And when you're little and you're growing up and you're acting up, your parents are telling you, control yourself, right? So I don't want to say I didn't believe and I didn't have faith. It just wasn't that as strong as it is now. And I was always, looking back, I was always being led and I was always being guided. And at the times that I listened, things worked out in my best interest.
That's the thing. There it is right there. There it is right there. Because that's also getting us to your second point, was release the brakes and stop trying to control everything.
Yes. Yes.
Expand on that just a little bit for us.
Oh my gosh, try controlling an 18-month-old, right? And holding them down to change their diaper. Like, it doesn't work out well. So sometimes you just need to let things go.
Yeah.
And well, here's the thing that I noticed with me when I tried to control things. I wasn't a great communicator. And I was limiting myself. When you put it in God's hands, what if it turns out better than you ever expected? With friendships, with relationships, with finances, with health, with everything. And once I released control, now I learned how to get clear on what I want, what's meaningful and important to me.
So let me ask you, and I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to ask you that. What type of things did you do to help you get clear on what you wanted?
Well, I'm very blessed and thankful for so many people in my life, because when you start on a journey of seeking to find, maybe it's find yourself, we're always evolving and growing,
Uh-huh.
right? So I've had some wonderful people in my life. So I had a really close friend named Teresa Huggins. She was an amazing angel, and she was an inspiration, and she was so great with energy healing and meditation, and she was so great with coaching and seeing the best in you,
Mm-hmm.
and asking you questions, asking you deep questions, and being excited. she I would tell her something terrible, and she'd say, "Oh my gosh, this is great because look at this opportunity." And I thought, "What, are you crazy?"
That's it. That's
But she
it.
would reframe
Right.
it and say, "But it gives you an opportunity for more, for different, for better. And what did you learn
Yes.
from this?" So who you surround yourself with and who you have in your life is so important, because they can either raise you up or hold you down.
Mm-hmm.
And we like to think we're going to be the ones to inspire them, and often it can be the reverse if
Yeah,
it's
that
not the right people.
they are influencing us as
Yes.
opposed to us being the influence on them.
And here's how you can tell: most people are really good at adapting to the room. So you're with certain people, you let it all hang out. You're with somebody else in a work situation, you're more professional.
Mm.
So if you're with the wrong people, you're going to let that side come out. Is that the best side? Is that where you want your energy to be? Energy and vibration is very powerful.
Mm.
It can be an attractor or a detractor. So yes, I surrounded myself with positive people. I surrounded myself with people who are smarter than me, who know more than me, who have more experience than me. And I learned how to, I'm not sure who said this quote, but I love this one too, is model success and duplicate results.
Mm. Okay.
So whether it's in your career, your personal life, you want to dress differently, you want to speak differently. Who's doing it well that you admire? Watch them, look at them. How do they sit? How do they stand? How do they dress? How do they talk? How do they present themselves? So I found that to be very powerful. Listening to all the greats. You have YouTube now. We have YouTube. We have podcasts. We have
Shows like this.
shows like this. We can go to the next level so easily. Like, this is like the elevator to go where you want to go and be who you want to be. And you're not going to be alone. We're never alone.
Yes.
Never alone. It's amazing the people who feel the same way. And I had another friend, Jackie, who one of the times that I was really sick, she created a waterfall meditation for me to cleanse all the negativity and just bring in positivity. And those are great friends.
Yeah.
Who just say, "You know what? I have some tools that I'm going to help you."
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just about that. It's about what you can do for others too. And who can you inspire? Who can you empower? So that's why when you allow things to happen, it's not just about you. Sometimes God needs you to go somewhere you never thought about going, because maybe somebody needs to meet you. Maybe somebody else needs your inspiration. Maybe somebody else needs your guidance or
Girl,
your
you better
story.
preach. You better preach.
So it's not always about you. What can you give to somebody else?
And that actually gets us to the next one, which I really love, which is also very hard to do. Another point that you leaned into and allowed when you were in the midst of your transition and your journey is allow things to fall apart.
Oh yeah, and that's hard, and it
That's
feels awful.
very,
It feels
yeah.
awful. It feels awful. And again, I just spent a lot of time talking to myself.
During this time period, during
Oh
this
yeah,
from this
because
July to January
we're
time
human.
period.
We're gonna flip back and forth from positivity to, "Oh my gosh, why is this happening to me?" And I have to tell you, both of my boys, I have two boys, and they're both so inspirational to me. And they're like, "Mom, you got this. Mom, you do you. You take care of you. Go be happy. You've got this in you." And they're starting their lives, living their lives, and they're my biggest supporters. And so when you have somebody supporting you, you're invincible. And so my friends, including you,
Mm-hmm.
I have other friends that have maybe had the opportunity to speak. I had another friend who wrote, produced, performed in her one-man show. I will do my best to go and support them, because when you feel supported and you feel, I love people so much, and I'm truly lit up when I make people feel seen, heard, and valued,
Yeah.
and I just bring out the best in them. That lights me up, and it matters. It matters when you're friends, when you feel like somebody's there to support you.
So let me ask you this: when you were in your transition, and when you were getting clear on where you wanted to go and the things that were happening, and you're dealing with the cataract, and you're furloughed during COVID, and then you have the Lyme disease, and then that was did you see that as life falling apart? Did you experience that ever in your mind, as if life is just falling apart
I
for
certainly
me?
did at different times. Oh yeah, for sure I did. And I would just thank God for my friends. I had a friend at work who, here was my fear, because I was on the road so much. If people didn't hear from me, it wasn't a big deal.
Mm.
And I thought, oh my gosh, if I die, nobody's going to know. They're not going to find me until days later. So I was always on the phone with somebody. So listen, or if it was a day I was really sick,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, make sure you call me in the morning. Make sure I'm alive. Make sure I get up.
I do remember those different phone calls that you were like, okay, so here, this is where I'm gonna be if you don't hear from me.
Check on me. This is the hotel. I remember driving home from Connecticut, sharing, I have two phones, work and personal. So I'm sharing my route with my brother and one of my best friends. And I said, okay, in case I have to stop to the emergency room on my way home. Well, here was the other thing. I was so sick, but I couldn't take time off from work, because I was applying for a job internally. If I was out of work, it's against the law to call somebody that's out sick or on disability. So I forced myself to drive 5 hours on a Monday, 5 hours on a Friday, and feel like death in between, because I knew it was so important for me to change my life. And I knew innately that this can't be forever. God has been this good to line everything up. Like I said, he's not going to send me to Texas to die by myself.
Yeah.
So and I had people in the nursing community, in the medical community, friends who said, oh my gosh, Lauren, I am so sorry you have Lyme disease. This is so awful. You're going to have it the rest of your life. And I said, nope, that's not my story. I said, my doctor caught it immediately. I'm treated immediately. And I'm sorry for the people that that's happened to, but mine was caught immediately. So that's not my story. That's somebody else's story. And then I had somebody who had Lyme disease say, wait till you start taking the antibiotics. You're going to have a die-off effect, and you're going to feel like you're dying, and it's worse than the Lyme itself. And I said, well, I've done my research, and not 100% of the people experience that. So that's not my story, and that's not going to happen to me.
Yes, I love how, and that was one of the things we've been talking about to help us overcome a negative environment, negative situations, is reframing the story.
Yes.
There's this story that everybody is trying to tell you, and you are being intentional about telling a different story. I love it.
Yes, and I just got to tell you this one quick story. I'm on an airplane with a young girl who's sitting next to me, and it was around the time my Facebook was hacked. That's another show. But friends had said, go to Apple. They can't fix that for you, but they might know what to do. They might have heard something. I didn't have time to go to Apple before my trip. But on my flight home, guess what? I sat next to a girl who worked at Apple, because this is how my life lines up.
When you release,
beautiful. Exactly. When you release control and put it out there, it comes to you. So anyway, so let me just tell you this. So this poor girl's telling me her story. She was coming here to Dallas to visit family. She goes, my boyfriend and I just broke up. And he broke up with her, and it slipped. But I go, oh my gosh. I go, this is great. And she's like, this is great. I go, oh my gosh, you get to start your life all over again.
Yes.
And you get to pick and choose and do. I go, did you see signs? Because apparently it was a very bad situation. she goes, I go, looking back, did you see signs? She goes, yeah, I saw signs. I go, this is great though. You get to be, do, and have anything you want now. The world is yours. And then we started this great conversation, and she did start to feel better, but she must have thought I was crazy at first. But yes, you are so right with, if you reframe, just take what you're thinking. What if you choose the opposite in a positive way?
Yeah.
What's the best that can happen? I don't say, what is the worst that can happen?
Oh, that's good. What's the best that can happen?
And you know, words are powerful.
Yes.
I never say, well, I do my best to not say, this is really hard, this stinks, this. I do my best to not do that. I put it in God's hands. I don't know why this is happening. This doesn't feel good, but there's something better at the other end.
Yes, which gets us to the last one, which is one of the ones I really, really love this one. Relinquish what you thought you wanted in exchange for what is truly meant for you.
Yes, so sometimes give up, and you're not giving up on a dream or hope. There's something better.
Yeah.
When I applied to Dallas, and I was going through the interview, when I was going through the interview process, all of a sudden I got a call from Arizona. Now I had a problem because the woman interviewing me, she was a great leader. And I thought, oh, I'd love to work under this woman. I would grow, I would learn. This is fantastic. I don't know what to do. What if I get offered both? What do I choose? Oh my gosh. What do I do? So I said, you know what, God? I'm going to put it in your hands. You send me where I am meant to be.
Yes.
I am just taking myself out of this, and you pick for me. You send me where I need to be. And I do this when I was looking for friendships, and I still do this when I'm, looking for certain friendships. I'll say, bring me somebody. I'm looking for more goal-oriented people. I'm looking for more positive-minded people. I'm very clear and specific. And within 2 weeks,
they're there.
It shows up.
They're there. Be
clear, be open. I'm not telling you to give up on your dreams, but be open to something different.
Yes.
And and I'm going to tell you, every day feels like my birthday. I think I told you this before. I said, my birthday.
I love it.
I get gifts all the time. And before I go somewhere, who am I going to meet, God? Who am I going to meet? I'm excited about the people I haven't met yet and the people I'm going to meet. I'm excited about the unfolding.
Yes.
I'm excited about the uncertainty. I'm excited about what if it's better than anything I ever thought of?
Yeah.
So just bring it on. I'm ready. I'm open. And are you willing? So that's something to ask yourself. What am I willing to do? What am I willing to accept? What am I willing to give up?
Yeah.
What am I willing? And you know what?
Allow.
You have to allow and be good at receiving, practice receiving. When somebody says, oh my gosh, I love your outfit. Don't say, oh, I just got it on sale, or I've had it for 10 years, because you're taking away somebody's compliment. They're giving you a gift. You're saying, I don't want it. What if you simply said, thank you.
Thank you.
And receive. And in my mind, I had to be good at receiving as, I think, a mom and as a female. We just have that caretaker instinct as females, and we're givers.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I struggle with, receiving. I struggle really hard with that.
And if we start to be open to receiving, if you were constantly giving me gifts and I was not good at receiving it, oh, thank you, you would probably stop giving me gifts. You'd say, oh, she's not going to like it anyway. I feel the same way with God. Why would he continue to give me gifts if I'm telling him, I don't want it, I don't need it? And I also make room in my life. Yes, I seem like a very busy person, but I also do make a lot of time, because I don't want God to say, well, I'm not going to bring you this because you're just too busy. You don't have time for this in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be intentional. Be open. And since I was always a happy person, but since I started doing these things almost 3 years ago, I have so much peace in my life. I am so happy, and I won't let anything. You become stronger because you won't let anything disrupt your peace.
And y'all, trust when I say she does not let anything get up in
Nope.
You are serious. We're getting ready to open it up to our audience, but I it's just so, everything that you said is so beautiful, and I love the unfolding, and I love your life. I love the life that you're living, which is not perfect, but you're
It's not
intentional,
perfect.
and you've been intentional about releasing things and allowing. That's what you
Yes.
say to me all the time. Even when we were getting ready to do this show, before it even became before Next Level even became Next Level, it was allow, and be
Yes.
open to receive what it is that you want, and allow God to just give it to you. And it's so essential to get, if we want to move forward.
Yes.
Now, if we want to stay where we are, or if we want to go backwards, then we shut ourselves off. We close ourselves from it. And the same energy we've been giving out is the same energy we'll continue to get.
Yes.
But when we release, when we let go, and we
And with that,
allow.
and with allowing, it's so important. I've had to learn to allow people to be themselves. That
Now
was
that's
hard because
good.
we want to help. Oh, I have a solution for you. I know what you should do. Let me tell you what you should do. We so want to help people and we want to change people, but we need to allow people to be who they are.
So you're saying allow, and so what you're saying is allow in every aspect of life, in your emotions, in your
Yes.
in external, just everything. That's good. I had never really given that any real thought. The allowing people to, well, I guess I probably do. I allow people to be whoever they are and
Yes.
receive them for who they are.
Yes, but now we've grown so much, we have a different mindset with that. So that's easier, but back before we evolved, it would look much different. But here's one last thought that I think is very helpful that I shared with my son on one of our drives to college. I told him, I said, there's something I want you to remember. I said, you're not Jesus and you're not chocolate.
Yeah.
And he looked at me, he's like, well, what are you talking about? I said, when we meet people, I said, you want to become a happy person in and of yourself. You don't want anybody else to create your happiness. Don't expect other people to create your happiness. I said, and people who need saving, I go, only Jesus can save others. And only chocolate can make you happy.
Well,
I said, and you're not Jesus and you're not chocolate. So don't try to save people and don't try to make other people happy.
I like that.
You want to attract other happy people and you could share your happiness together.
I like that.
So you're not Jesus and you're not chocolate.
You're
so
not
don't even
Jesus
try.
and you're not chocolate. Okay, let's open it up and let's see what everybody has to say. Let's get us some questions.
Okay.
You guys feel free to start dropping questions in the chat for Lauren. Lauren is all about, she's ready to answer anything that you have. So you know how y'all be hitting me with the hard questions? Go on and hit her with some good hard ones.
Uh-oh.
All right. So let's see here. Okay. What is the, oh, I'm telling you, everybody is just loving you. But I'm trying to get to my questions. Okay, Lauren, what are you looking to receive at this point in your life?
Oh, that's well, the easy answer is I'm looking to receive what is meant for me. What is, and you know what? Really, that's the way I look at things, because what is meant for me, I love Dallas. I've had people say, do you think you'll ever move from Dallas? And I said, I really like it here. However, if something felt right for me, I would move. So what am I looking to receive right now? You know what? I just love receiving all your questions and comments. And I love receiving new friendships and new inspirations. And how can I help people? That's
and you know, as they continue to drop their questions in, you actually have started a new venture. Let's talk briefly about that while we get the rest of the questions.
So that's a great point. So I created an LLC called Easy Success Strategies, and with that, I'm starting a new group called Find Your Tribe Now to help people find meaningful and fulfilling friendships with like-minded people. Because when I moved here, I've met other people who said, don't you find it hard making friends at our age? And I thought, well, no, I don't.
Of course you don't.
But I'm not introverted like them, but I respect that other people, it's not so easy to initiate. They're willing to engage, but to initiate is difficult for people. So how can we match up people with like-minded people, or people in the same mindset or age range? So getting people together and creating meaningful connections in person. So, you know, everybody needs a wingman. Everybody needs somebody they can rely on.
And most times when we go out, I am her wingman. All right, so
I'm her wingman.
Lauren, what'd you say?
I'm your wingman.
What other books have impacted your life?
Oh my gosh. So, The Success Principles by Jack Canfield,
Yes.
for sure.
And you're actually you've actually worked with the Jack Canfield group in some of that, because I love the Success Principles, but I love everything Jack Canfield.
Yes. And then I'm reading a book right now. I'm almost done because I get distracted with all these things I'm doing. Called Who's in Your Room by Ivan Meisner. That's and a few other people too. And it's a really good book because it talks about the people that come into your life and how even when they leave, or whether you have them leave or they leave on their own, they're still kind of there, and you have to place them, put them in their place, kind of thing. It's a really great book. And what I love about these two books especially is, oh, and I have one I haven't started yet by Sam Horn called Talking on Eggshells. And it's about communication and how to have clearer, more concise communication. But what I love about these books is the strategy. It's not just motivation. There comes a point where we need motivation, but now we need strategy. What can I implement, and what can I execute? What can I use? And I love thought-provoking statements and thought-provoking questions that go, oh, never thought about that.
What has been one, and this off script, and I'm hitting you just right off the top of my head. What has been one of the most thought-provoking questions you have either been asked or asked yourself this year?
Oh, this year.
Or okay, just give me one in general, just in life.
You know, years ago, I had somebody, we were talking about a conversation I had with somebody else, and somebody gave me advice. And this person said to me, do you think that was good advice? And I know it sounds like a simple question, but typically I'm reactive. If I think this, and I should do this. So when they said this, do you think that was good advice? I thought, no, my advice is better. I know me. But I honestly sat there and thought, wow, I never thought about whether their advice was good or not. I never even considered it.
Really?
I didn't consider their advice. I heard their advice. I didn't consider their advice. So that little question, do you think that was good advice, really hit me hard. And another question that somebody asked me years and years ago was, when did you first come up with that belief? And
I ask myself that.
What would happen if you changed your mind about that?
Yeah.
About that thought that how old were you when you created that thought and that belief? And why can't you change your mind? And I thought, oh, gosh. So I'm a bit of a nerd. I haven't watched TV in probably 4 years. I love thought-provoking questions.
Yeah.
And psychology of the mind, and neuroscience, and why do we think what we think, and perceptions.
Yeah.
So what else we got?
Okay, sorry. Okay. Have you thought about writing a book or a memoir? Well,
so this book, it's a compilation book with 19 other women, and I do have a story in here. And I'm going to tell you something about this story. This was so powerful for me because it wasn't just about the story itself. I mean, it was, but as a mom and as an employee, I always get my work done on time. I always took care of my kids' things. I always did what I had to do and completed what I needed to complete. But I didn't finish things for myself. Start with a trainer. I don't end with a trainer. Started eating better, then you fall off the wagon, then you know. So when I hit the send button on this story with the final edits, that was I said, I finished something for myself.
Yes.
This was for me. So I have thought about some different books, memoirs, possibly. I have a few different books going on in my head, and I get that squirrel syndrome because I have several going on, and some actually guided journals.
Okay.
I want to create a guided journal that asks some of those powerful questions and gets you to think and just think differently. And some tips and some strategies to reframe
the
stories and the questions that we put on ourselves.
Because all of that will take you from where you are to where you want to go. Every ounce of it. You have to reframe. You have to tell yourself a different story and asking yourself. I love asking myself questions. Matter of fact, I probably ask myself too many questions, and then I turn around and answer the questions sometimes even before the Lord can answer them. But I love thought-provoking questions that help me dig in. Why are you thinking like that? Why do you believe that? And how can you do something different?
Here's the thing that I've asked myself lately. Is that out of fear or is that a fact? How do I know this is even true, what I'm putting on myself? Is that true, Lauren? Is that really true what you're thinking?
That's good.
Or are you doing this or not doing it out of fear, or is it a fact?
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Let me because I want to make sure I get everybody's questions. Lauren, what tips do you have for people who have a hard time allowing change? And was there something physical you did to yourself? Hold on. Was there something physical you did to allow yourself to accept the change?
These are so good. I love it. Yes. So if you start small, do you remember, have you ever rearranged your furniture a lot when you were younger? Maybe you rearranged your living room or your bedroom, right? So when you rearrange furniture, it gives you this whole different vibe. It changes the energy in the room. If you're able to do that, go ahead and do that. If you drive down this street to go home all the time, take a different street. If you go in the front door all the time, go in the side door. If you go in the side door, go in the front door. When it comes to dressing, for example, I love bright yellow. It just doesn't really compliment me up here, but I bought a bright yellow skirt to wear on the bottom, and I could wear navy on top. I didn't think I could wear orange. I tried wearing orange and I loved it, and it actually looks good. Try something different. And ladies, okay, my son is watching, so plug your ears, but start matching your brown panties.
That's very important.
Seriously, it makes you feel better. It makes you, and you don't even have to spend a lot of money. Walmart has some very nice. You just cut the tags off. Who cares where it's from? It's about feeling good. Buy yourself some new lotion, and touch every scent, sight, smell, touch. Buy a different fabric. Buy different lotion. And you might have to, when I quit smoking many years ago, that's what I did, and it made me feel good. Buy new candles. Try something different that you haven't done. Small incremental steps.
Yeah.
And if you always wear your hair up, try wearing it down. Those are little things.
Yes.
If you used to do your hair, but you feel you don't have time because of the kids, make a little time to do it even once a week. Maybe start with, on Saturdays, I'm going to do this because you want to, not because you have to. Don't try to fit in. And clothes don't make you, you make the clothes. So get your energy up. Listen to music that's uplifting, that gets you going, because you could wear a paper bag and you are going to rock that paper bag by the energy you bring to the outfit.
Yes.
The outfit doesn't make you.
So what you're saying is, for people who have a hard time changing. Just find little tiny things, everyday things to change and consistently, which is one of our pillars here at Next Level, consistently do that, and that'll start implementing change and help you, because everything starts just small.
Yes.
Everything starts small. I love it.
A girl I work with, she was in the same boat, and she'd always wear pants, dark colored pants, and maybe a white blouse. And she'd say, Lauren, I'm just so afraid of color. I'd love to dress like you. I'm so afraid of color. And I said, why don't you just get some brighter color shoes? If this is what you're drawn to, brighter color shoes or a brighter color sweater, a cardigan that you can take on and off, just small. Maybe put flowers on your kitchen table that you typically don't do that, like small incremental steps.
Yes, yes. Okay, so we're getting ready to wrap up. And Lauren, I mean, when I tell you, I just so appreciate you, and I have enjoyed, this conversation so much. Before I ask you to just say something to our audience, can you tell us again, and we're going to put in the comments those books that you mentioned that impacted your life, because everybody's asking those books that you were talking about, and we're about to put them in the comments for you. And Mitch said hi.
Hi, Mitch. Mitch is my little boy. He's 25 and 6'3". He's my baby.
So tell us those books again.
Okay, so The Success Principles by Jack Canfield, Who's in Your Room by Ivan Misner, and Talking on Eggshells by Sam Horn. Those are three great ones. They're easy reads. They're engaging reads. That's why I love them, because they're easy, they're engaging.
Okay.
And they're chock full of good info.
The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Who's in Your Room by
Ivan Misner.
And what was the third one?
Talking on Eggshells.
Talking on Eggshells. And we are also going to include this list of books in our show notes so that you guys can have those as well.
I just might add, if you are in sales, because this was recommended years ago, The World's Greatest Salesman.
Oh, yes. The World's Greatest Salesman. No, I agree with that. And you actually started me on that one, and that book has completely changed my life too. So I do agree. If
you're in sales, get that one.
Lauren, I just want to thank you so much. And you also brought a copy of your book, which we are going to be giving away on tonight. And Jackie Green is going to receive this book.
Woo,
your free copy of Lauren's book, Women Who Inspire, which is loaded with such great stories. I thank you so much for joining us. And how can people get in contact, connect with you who wanna hook up with you?
I am on Facebook, and Lauren Fisher. There's a lot of them. So you can also find me making comments on Shantae's Next Level page, as well as her personal page. So you can click on me, click on the dots, and then add friend or follow. So there's that. You can also email me at info.findyourtribenow@gmail.com until I get my website up and all that good stuff going. And I just want to thank you, Shantae, for inviting me here.
Thank you.
And having me. And thank you to all the viewers who are watching and all these great questions. And I'd love you to email me with more questions.
Yes.
And if you're here in Dallas, let's go grab dinner or coffee or something. I love meeting new people. So let's get together.
And we are going to be bringing you back, because you and I both know, we have a slew of conversations, topics that we love to talk about and explore. And I'm so looking forward to you even coming back and sharing even more, especially as you get your new venture up and going.
Thank you so much.
We're getting ready to close out. Why don't you just give our audience something, to that person who's just kind of in that place, not knowing how to really allow. What do you want to say to her?
I want to say, just relinquish, just let it go, give it to the universe, to God, to whoever, and just say, you know what, when I get frustrated, I just say, you know what, I don't need to do anything right now. I just need to be, and I just need to receive.
Yes.
And just be open. And look, if things aren't going your way too fast, just notice everything. You're getting warmer. You're getting warmer. Those are things you'll notice, that you've got the power in you. You've got magic in you. People need to see, hear, and feel your magic too. You have something special to offer people. And don't be afraid to shine, because when you do that, you give other people permission to do the same.
Oh,
So,
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Lauren. You can also catch Lauren and more of her insights and inspirations in Next Level Magazine, because she has a column in Next Level Magazine titled Insights and Inspirations. So for those of you who have not subscribed, please go and do so. Subscribe at nexlevel.com. You can read our second issue. Her great column, Permission to Dream, is the name of the current issue. So you can also catch Lauren there. I want to also remind you guys that we are spotlighting a different business every week, a different author, just somebody. So if you have anything, if you have a business, if you have a product, if you have a program that you would like us to spotlight, connect with us. You can mail things to us. Our physical address is 12801 North Central Expressway, Suite 140. That's Dallas, Texas, 75234. Because we are here to see you win, and we want to be found guilty supporting you in everything that we possibly can. We appreciate you guys. And I also want to remind you all to join us and to subscribe to our YouTube page. And we release a new podcast every single week. And so I want to encourage you guys to join us. We're also streaming on all of your streaming platforms. So if you enjoyed this conversation and you are looking for more tips, more inspiration, more guidance, more wisdom, follow us, download the magazine, connect with us on Facebook, connect with us on Instagram, get into the podcast. We have so many wonderful stories, so much wisdom from so many amazing and beautiful women. You will be filled. That's what our goal is. When we started Next Level, we started it with the intent to inspire, to encourage, to give you practical tools, just like Lauren has tonight, and to basically have conversations like this, break the silence, share our stories. And so we want to hear from you. And I want to thank you, especially all of our new viewers on tonight. You guys did not have to join in. I appreciate every last one of you. I do not take it for granted. And so I just want to let you guys know that we love you and we totally appreciate you. And as we continue on overcoming negative thoughts and negative mindsets, as we move to a positive lifestyle, because our whole goal is to move forward. I want to encourage you all to check out some of the other shows on the Win-Win Women Network. It's full of amazing things. Every topic that you could possibly think about, you will find on the network. So make sure that you go and support them and support someone, encourage someone, uplift someone. And I forgot to remind you guys about the 75-day challenge. We are becoming consistent. Lauren talked about that on just a while ago. I finished something this year. That's our goal. And we are here to support you, to help you finish this year. And so if you have not been joining us, jump in right now. It doesn't matter where you are. I don't care if you just join us for 2 days. Our goal is to help you become consistent. And make sure you hashtag Next Level without a T, NEXLEVEL 75, and let us support you as you become consistent. Until next week, I want to tell you guys that I thank you, I love you, and I appreciate you. Have a very good night.